When it comes to the biggest moments in Utah sports history,
Say
these guys have seen it all. This is DJ and PK. DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Question of the morning up on our Facebook page. The Lakers have swung and missed. What does it say that Dan Hurley turned them down? Scott says, it says he has eyes. Anyone could see the problem with the Lakers.
What's the problem?
He does not spell out the problem. Could be capped out team. Could be he doesn't have the right personality to coach in the pros.
Well, then why did he consider it? He apparently strongly consider it.
Good to have all your options. And you consider all your options. Maybe he wanted more control than he was going to get in L.A. I guess there could be any myriad of things. Until we hear him say or somebody close to him gives him up, I don't know. You got a gut instinct on what it was? On the long list of reasons that people turn down coaching jobs?
He's an East Coast guy. He doesn't want to move all the way out there. His wife doesn't want to move out there. She's a Jersey lady. Jersey girls. Let me tell you, I know about Jersey girls.
You got two sisters.
Yeah.
Had a ma.
Ma! I
and
got
then
more than
probably
that.
aunts and uncles and cousins.
A couple exes. A lot of them moved to Texas.
Nice. And they weren't happy, and they moved back to Jersey. So you learned.
She barely wanted to move up the freeway, up I-95.
Brian says it's not the Lakers' fault. He just wanted to stay at UConn. The Lakers and LA people thinking it's all about the Lakers. It was about UConn.
The idea of this capped out stuff, all that's just temporary. The Jazz were capped out until they weren't.
Right. They know it's true, and they gave him a 6-year deal. So you're not going to be capped out for 6 years.
You could be capped out today and not be tomorrow.
Ryan says that having players involved in front office choices are not what any coach ever wants to deal with.
Yeah, but I think that's, to a degree, every situation. I even think it gets down into colleges. How's that unusual?
Players having opinions on who ought to be on the team? Of course they have opinions. It's just a question of how much say they have in any situation.
Right.
There are plenty, even at the college level, there are plenty of examples of coaches taking a player to get a teammate. Player A, yeah, we'll take you, and you're okay, and that's fine. But really, we think now we have a better shot at getting player B.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Players still impact who's on the roster, even at the college level. I mean, they don't have the same amount of pull probably as some 10-year NBA player who's, won a title. I mean, in the case of LeBron, won 4. But just going generic across the NBA. The veteran who's the linchpin of the team has a little more say.
Of course. You don't think that they have says as far as trades go? They have way more say in that situation. You don't think the statues were consulted on every single deal?
They were. They were asked about that. They said they were.
Right. So I don't understand how that's unusual here.
They weren't always listened to. When Amici came to town, John Amici, at the press conference, Stockton said, I think he got signed because he had a good game against us. It didn't sound like John was in favor of that signing.
Well, they were listened to doesn't mean that their advice or counsel was followed.
Dan says, why didn't he take the Laker job? 2 words. Dumpster fire. Dumpster fire is a little strong since they were in the Western Conference Finals just a year ago.
Oh, okay, well, that's last year.
Yeah. Now it's 2 years ago.
Right. I mean, it's
dumpster fire. I think you have to be down further.
Last year.
Right. You have to be down further for longer to be a dumpster fire. That's too.
But they're the most glamorous franchise in all of the NBA. That's what the Los Angeles Times said.
Was that Plaschke?
He is the Los Angeles Times.
You wouldn't quote it if it weren't Plaschke. None of these other mere mortals.
Yes. Another guy who will be 70 years old and still doing it. Are they the most glamorous franchise? Because I read that. I seen that. Or those times come and gone. I ask you.
Well, they are still glamorous, and they still have LeBron, but they have not won at the clip they used to win at now for a solid 10 going on 15
facts.
years.
So this is an opinion-based question, not a fact-based question.
To me, no, but to somebody living in L.A., yes.
Oh. How about no way in hell? Are you going to shrivel up and die if you don't appease both sides?
I don't think no way in hell is the true answer.
I know, but doesn't it feel fun to actually come down on a side?
I did.
Hey, well, those people over here, I can see their opinion, and those people over there, I can see their opinion. Everybody get together, and let's be happy.
There are two
Straw
sides.
to juice and a Twinkie for you, too.
There aren't two sides. There's more than two, and I've come down on one that really, really, really annoys you.
You really, really, really annoy me. Not the sides that you come down on. I mean, come on. Is this who they are? Are they holding on to something that is long gone?
Yes. Jerry Buss had a touch. I mean, I don't know how he did it, but he had it figured out.
And he wasn't asking for much.
And the kids don't seem to have the touch. There's been too much struggling since Jerry passed.
What's too much struggling? The
missing the playoffs
the Jazz have
8
never
times
had
in
the
10
touch.
years.
Then the Jazz have missed the playoffs now 2 years. It's probably going to be 3. And before that, they missed the playoffs.
Since they had the massive run when the statues were there, they're basically as likely to go to the lottery as they are to go to the second round. The winning is not what it was.
So
there's no
really,
question.
the Buss children have just come back to the norm because they didn't have Magic.
West, Chamberlain, Magic, Kareem, Shaq, Kobe.
Well, they had them, though. But wasn't Jerry dead by then?
Jerry was around for Shaq and Kobe.
Was he?
I don't know what his level of involvement was for the last two with Kobe and Gasol. I'd have to look that up. But he was definitely around for...
Okay.
He was there for the Shaq trade because there's a pickup game or whatever, and Shaq dunked and he ran back up court and he turned and yelled at Jerry Buss, "Give me my money!" And shortly after that, he was traded to Miami.
So we can crack on them, but really isn't that they're just like everybody else now, and before they weren't?
Yes. I think that's
why
an
crack
excellent
on
point.
them? If you're going to crack on them, then you got to crack on the Jazz.
Well, because I don't think that the rest of the fan bases don't walk around thinking that they're the most glamorous team in the league. I mean, that's the difference between the Lakers being the most glamorous team in the league and that being earned, and now them still having a certain amount of glamour that is residual because they were great for decades and they're in a city that has a lot of people.
That's the last part is the reason why they're the most glamorous.
City that has a lot of people?
No. That it's a glamorous Hollywood celebrity, look at me type of people. Not that if I wanted to go to have the most types of the most amount of people consider it glamorous, move a franchise to Mexico City then. I mean, it's Hollywood. It's all the stuff that goes into it. It's the weather. It's blah, blah, blah.
I think it's a little bit of the people, although New York has the whole, they got plenty of showbiz in New York. So they put Spike Lee courtside, and it's glamour, and they don't have anywhere near the
like
victory.
Over here. I mean, it's nothing like over here. Yeah, and the franchise wasn't all that until friggin' Magic got there. It was nice. It was a good franchise that had won one title.
Yep. Come up
Unless
short
you
a
go
bunch.
back in Minnesota days.
Right. No, but in L.A. it had won one title.
Right. And once Magic got there,
5 titles and 9 trips to the finals in 12 years.
And it wasn't just
what a ride.
It wasn't just the winning; it's the way they won.
Showtime.
Who was the quarterback of Showtime? Who engineered it? Who was the architect?
Irvin.
Right.
Buck Magic Johnson.
Right. And they the fates conspired to allow them to have the pick, number 1, when he was coming out. That's some serious good fortune right there.
Yeah. But they made the most of their good fortune.
Absolutely. And Bus had the ability to be an entertainer himself. The Laker girls and all the honeys, I used to go to the games and just stargaze. I would go in the Forum Club before the game at halftime.
Before luxury suites and hiding behind tinted windows and all that kind of stuff, he would sit at a table that was on a platform over one of the tunnels. Plain view of everybody. With whatever stars or would-be stars or models or would-be models he wanted to sit with at the table that night.
Right, and it was all about the glamour that he had the foresight to do, and he had the guy who was as charismatic as anybody who's ever played the game, on and off the floor. I mean, there's never been, ever, a microphone that Magic said no comment. It's just not who he is. Right?
Yep.
Especially then. This wide-eyed guy with $1 million smile and charm and all the stuff that he had going on. You talk about the best fit ever. There's never been a better fit, player to community, with ownership.
Never wore another jersey. He's a Laker through and through.
Yeah.
First day to the last day.
Yeah. And so I can see why they call themselves the most glamorous. Because for a good while, and Platschke is a 66, 67-year-old man.
No, he goes all the way back to Magic and Kareem, and then he was there and saw them reinvent themselves with Shaq and Kobe and do the three-peat.
And everybody there thinks they're the best in L.A. It's just the way it is.
It is the way it is.
I had an argument with a friend of mine who now works for the Orange County Register. He went to USC, and I was changing my cooler, going to winterize it in the first house that we lived in. And I suck at that stuff, and I hated doing it. And finally, we gave it up while we moved and got in. This house had air conditioning put in. But so he calls me, and the Devils had just beaten SC, a controversial Brad Otten, the kid who played at Weber. Did he fumble? And they didn't have replay then, and it was in overtime, and they called it a fumble as he was trying to throw the ball versus an incomplete pass. And my buddy says, wow, the refs always favor the underdog. And I jumped him big time.
Because USC was the underdog. Yes. ASU was favored.
I believe that was the year that they went to the Rose Bowl.
You are driving me nuts.
So I'm screaming
you are
on the roof.
So entitled.
Right. Favored. He just assumed that they were favored. And that's the way it is there. But is it true now? I don't think it is anymore. The glitz and glamour and the celebrity and the silicone and all that stuff is all there. But what does the player want? Outside of Anthony Davis and LeBron, who has been demanding to go there?
The list has gotten shorter. For a while, they didn't have money because they paid Kobe and he tore his Achilles. But they've won 6 playoff series in 12 years. That's not a very good winning clip. And 4 of those they did in the bubble all at once when they won the title. So the best players are not
the way Whittingham looks at the COVID season.
Throw it out?
Yeah.
Only if you didn't win. If you didn't win, you throw it out. If you did win, well, everybody played and the rules were the same.
but it was unlike anything we've ever had.
Absolutely.
Someone had to win.
Yep. There was a lot of the bubble there, and then baseball did their bubble sort of in Texas, right? Did all neutral field games, no travel.
Right.
And the Dodgers won that, and L.A. had their year. We got another title and another title. But it's definitely different, and no fans, no travel. Those are two pretty big elements. We've always heard about the impact they have.
Yeah.
I mean, the talent's still out there.
Especially in the NBA. I don't think baseball matters that much. I really don't, no matter where you play.
Get your starting pitcher in the zone.
I mean, the field essentially is the same. And the fans, I just don't think they make a difference. Not to the level that it can be in basketball. And so the travel.
Well, even if you count those series, 6 playoff series wins in 12 years is not an impressive number. And if you don't count them, then it's 2-12. And it's just worse. But the message is the same: is you're not dominating. You haven't dominated for a long time. Why do you think you're so special?
Which is why
and Plaschke gives voice to that frustration. Now, maybe part of the frustration is you got completely unrealistic idea of your place in the basketball universe.
But
in the first place.
that'll never change.
Never.
Not anybody who's born today. Living today, I should say. No. You'd have to go Jeannie and whoever else is involved in that family. They'd all have to be dead. Because this is all they know. You know what I mean? And if you got another generation in there, then maybe they would know stuff that is different and would think differently. But it doesn't look like that's going to be for a while. I mean, Jeannie Buss is only 62 years old.
There's a possibility she could be doing this for 20 more years.
Yeah. If she wanted to, right?
Yeah, right.
You would think.
They're certainly owners in their 80s. Across multiple sports.
And you know, she's married to Jay Moore.
I did not know that.
You did not know that?
I did not know
And Jay Moore farted on us?
I do remember that. That was a pretty odd morning. Jay Moore's manic energy in studio. We don't get a lot of in-studio guests.
Oh, we used to have the comedians back then, though. We had JJ, Jimmy, what's his face, Walker?
That was earlier.
I thought it was over the same place. Kelly Endo, when he was starting out, came on a bunch. Came in studio.
That's true. Then he got really big, and we haven't seen him anymore.
Right. And he's 9 years younger, Jay Moore. Jeannie Buss is a cougar. And Jay Moore, as you know.
You guys got into a whole thing with Jay Moore about East Orange, West Orange.
Well, he's a Jersey guy.
And South Orange. Storange!
Yeah.
You're in there screaming, Storange!
Yeah. I mean, he went to a Verona High School, which is they're right next to each other. So he knew about that. So she's set. She's got her marriage. She dumped Phil.
It's over.
And she went younger.
Yeah.
So she's set to be running the show here for at least 10 years.
You would think.
Yeah. So they're going to be of that mindset to go all the way, all the time. And if I'm a Laker fan, I like that. But I wonder how much they can recover from this.
From a coach telling them no?
Well, so public. Who tells the Lakers no?
Mike Krzyzewski, and they recovered from that.
Who'd they get?
They brought back Phil.
Yeah. I rest my case.
And they made the Gasol trade.
And they already had the Mamba on board in his prime. Still had many years to go. LeBron's a great player, but he's not in his prime. He's still a great player. Make no mistake about that. He's still a great player. He's setting the record for advanced greatness, unlike anything we've seen. But how do you sell this now? Is it a bad look? Can they recover from it? It might take a bit.
I don't know that this is what they have to recover from. They had an owner who had the touch, and they had a GM who hit the mark again and again. Now they also had a couple of players who leveraged their way there. And one who fell into their lap. Kareem leveraged his way there. Magic fell into their lap. You know, they traded for a future.
Kobe leveraged his way there.
Kobe leveraged his way there. I hadn't gotten to that generation, right? Well, Shaq. The Shaq had to, West had to go recruit him. He was a free agent. West had to go recruit him, but he got him there. So if you get the right couple of players, so they get a couple of players now who are really good.
Yeah, but that's just my point.
Older, but
is that no one's clamoring to do that like they were.
But when these two are soaking up all the money. When these two aren't there, and I mean, LeBron isn't going to do this at 45, is he? Maybe he is. Maybe he's going Tom Brady on us. So when they have money,
he's a free agent right now.
When they have
who's
money,
clamoring to go there? They don't have to resign this very day. He is a free agent. His agent said that. They owe him nothing. He's soaking up as much money on the Lakers as I am. That's $0.
But I think there's the assumption that he is going to stay there.
Well, that's...
And so people aren't wasting their time on it.
Oh, now, right, that's your assumption.
Right.
You stand by that.
I do.
I stand by the facts. They owe him nothing. And there's no free agent that we've heard any buzz, I want to go there. Don't sign me because I'm going to play out my deal and go there.
Because right now they get so much money to sign the extension that guys are routinely signing the extension.
And they don't want to go there. And you're missing the obvious reason.
And that would be
state taxes. May he rest in peace.
He's still alive. He hasn't died. As you know when you run into him. Where'd you run into him?
He came up and watched the Oregon game.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Because he has the house up in Promontory, so he's here a fair amount.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Kathy says he didn't take the job because the Laker front office is a joke. Plus, he wants to coach, not just do what LeBron says. But there it is.
LeBron, somebody said that the second they get a coach, he's going to sign a 3-year deal. Can't remember where I heard that yesterday. And it sounded like it was more than just a flippant comment. Sounded like
but my assumption was just ridiculous, and now you just throw that out there.
You just took who I don't know said, and I don't know if he was serious, and you took it as fact. That's today's journalism at its finest.
Yeah.
Who's clamoring to go? Name me one guy.
Most of them don't hit free agency. They signed the extension. So, no, but I don't know they're not clamoring to go because, no, I think with the extension.
Yes.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.